Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. Techno Talks here. So in front of us today we do have two devices, Google's newest flagship device, the Google Pixel 9 Pro XL, and Samsung's standing champion, the Samsung Galaxy S24 Ultra. And today we're going to be doing a nice little speed test between these two devices. Basically, we're going to start off with a boot up test, which really doesn't mean much. However, I do still include it. I'm going to go ahead and test out their fingerprint sensors because they both have ultrasonic fingerprint sensors now. Google did finally get away from that optical. And then we'll go ahead and go through some apps. We'll go ahead and check the RAM management, and I will go ahead and do some benchmarks as well. So without further ado, let's go ahead and begin. Talking about the specs on both these devices, the Google Pixel 9 Pro XL has 16 gigabytes of RAM with the Google Tensor G4. So we do have 16 gigabytes of RAM on here and 12 gigabytes of RAM on the S24 Ultra with the Snapdragon 8 Gen 3. So let's go ahead and see how these perform. Starting off with a boot up test in 3, 2, 1. All right, let's go ahead and see which one boots up first. Both of them have their logos. Once again, this doesn't really mean too much. However, I do still include it. As you saw, the Google logo did turn into a Gemini logo for a second. They are pushing AI a lot. I'm not really sure how good this is. I feel like because of the AI, they're not really improving the phones as much as before. Now with the iPhone 16 Pro, that is something we saw as well. All of the AI features, which haven't even come with the device. Same with the Google Pixel. It's kind of annoying that they are trying to push this AI and not really do much with the phone. So the Pixel 9 Pro XL has booted up. The S24 Ultra is taking surprisingly long. It's now in this optimizing apps thing, which I haven't really seen in a while, but now the S24 Ultra is finally up and running. Alright, so both the devices have powered on. I did go ahead and go into the home screen right here, and now let's go ahead and actually test those fingerprint sensors out. So I'm going to go ahead and first up start off with the display turned off completely, on always on display in 3, 2, 1. That did seem like the Pixel 9 Pro XL. Go ahead and do it again once more with the display turned on. The Pixel did unlock. Alright, that seemed like the Pixel as well. Now let's go ahead and close it again. Once again, seems like the Pixel 9 Pro XL. But again, very similar in speed. However, Google has done a great job with this fingerprint sensor. Alright, so the Pixel does take it for the fingerprint sensor. I am noticing that it's honestly a lot faster than the S24 Ultra, and it does feel a lot smoother. However, the S24 Ultra has been out for more than half a year now, and so I don't know how well that's going to affect the performance. Maybe it might have dropped a little, but again, the Pixel 9 Pro XL has done a great job. Alright, so we can now go ahead and move on to the app launching test. Here I do have a row of apps. As you can see, we have some stock apps, some social media apps, we do have some shopping, YouTube, Chipotle, and then we do have some games at the very end. And then after that, I do have some benchmark. So let's go ahead and begin. Starting off the calculator in 3, 2, 1. That did seem like the S24 Ultra. And again, if I do miss anything, just go ahead and correct me in the comments to be sure about it. So calendar in 3, 2, 1. That did seem like the S24 Ultra. Clock in 3, 2, 1. Once again, the S24 Ultra. Camera, very similar. And then flipping it around, that was the Pixel 9 Pro XL. Instagram, see the S24 Ultra, the Pixel is still loading. And once again, these are both connected to the same Wi-Fi. X in 3, 2, 1. Let's go ahead and see. That does seem like the S24 Ultra. Groupon. Let's go ahead and do Groupon again. Groupon in 3, 2, 1. Alright, seems like the S24 Ultra. ESPN. The Pixel 9 Pro XL. And let's see which one starts the video. The Pixel 9 Pro XL. The S24 Ultra is still loading in the video, so that's taking a little while. And it's still loading it in. Alright, Amazon. Oh, is that the Pixel? So the S24 Ultra had an extra animation. However, these are both updated to their latest update, so that shouldn't be an issue. eBay. That seems like the S24 Ultra. YouTube. That does seem like the Pixel, maybe? I'm not exactly sure about that. Chipotle. That was very similar. I'll go ahead and give that a tie. And now we can move on to our games. So starting off with Smash Road Wanted. Usually the Snapdragon chipset does perform better with games, and did open it up first. Go ahead and close out. Temple Run 2. Let's see, it seems like the S24 Ultra Pixel maybe. Oh no, it is the S24 Ultra. So once again, the Snapdragon chipset is a lot more powerful than the Google Tensor G4. That is something that I've noticed about Tensor chipsets. They're flagship, but they're not really up there with the other flagship chipset, and that is unfortunately not a good thing for the Pixel. But again, day-to-day tasks, it still does perform really well. Asphalt. See, very close. The S24 Ultra did get into this screen first, and it has loaded in first. So once again, very close, but the S24 Ultra does take it. And finally, Dead Trigger 2. Let's see, very close once again. And that seems like the Pixel 9 Pro XL loaded in the home screen and clicking play in 3, 2, 1. And I wasn't able to click play on that. So let's go ahead and redo that. All right, and clicking play at the same time. Now we can have a better result. Let's see. Very similar. We're gonna have to wait for that final animation to see which one loads in first. Very close, very close. And that is gonna be the S24 Ultra by like a millisecond. So not really too much of a difference. All right, now that we've gone through all of our apps, the S24 Ultra did seem to open up most of the apps a tad bit faster, and then the Pixel 9 Pro XL was just a tad bit slower than the S24 Ultra. So now we can go ahead and go through our RAM management. Obviously, the stock apps usually don't really matter much, but we'll go ahead and go through them anyways. Our camera. Okay. So the Pixel did switch to the rear camera, but I believe that's a setting in there, and so that doesn't really matter. Instagram, still open. X, seems like it's still open. Groupon, ESPN, Amazon, that was not a reload. eBay, still open. YouTube, still there. Chipotle, nice. Smash Your Road Wanted, still open on both the devices. Temple Run 2. Oop. On the S24 Ultra, we just got a reload on Temple Run 2. That is unfortunate. So the Pixel is up by one app right now. Asphalt Unite. Alright. No problems there. Dead Trigger 2. Once again, still in the app. And boom. So the S24 Ultra did unfortunately reload Temple Run 2. I'm not exactly sure. I did check the battery optimization settings, but again, we just had an issue with Temple Run 2. It did keep everything else open, so it's kind of confusing why that was the specific app that it did not keep open. But again, from this test, we can see that the Pixel 9 Pro XL has kept one app open, unlike the S24 Ultra, and this device does have 4 more gigabytes of RAM, so we'll leave it at that. All right, now we're done with that. We'll go ahead and close through all of our apps. So go to close all, clear all, and we can hop into our Geekbench 6 CPU benchmark. So opening up Geekbench 6, we'll go ahead and run this CPU benchmark in 3, 2, 1. And once this is done, I will get back to y'all. All right, so both the tests are finally done. The S24 Ultra completed that in about half the time the Pixel 9 Pro XL took. This took a pretty long time, but now we do have our scores here. So starting off the S24 Ultra, we do have 2181 for the single core, and then for the Pixel 9 Pro, we do have 1267, and then 6471 on the multi-core and 3347 on the multi-core for the Pixel 9 Pro XL. So from this result, we can see that the Snapdragon 8 Gen 3 is a lot more powerful than the Tensor G4 inside of the Pixel 9 Pro XL, and that is one of the drawbacks of the Pixel devices. Unfortunately, Google's chipset isn't really up on that flagship level yet. I know in day-to-day usage, it doesn't really matter much, but there's ever so slightly a difference whenever I'm actually using these devices as my daily driver, and that has been the case for around 2 weeks now with the Pixel 9 Pro XL. I have noticed that in certain things, the Pixel 9 Pro XL just lags. For example, when connected to Android Auto, if I do try and do something else, or if I even try to take a photo, the camera app just lags a ton. Or any other app when I'm opening during Android Auto, it just lags a lot more. On the S24 Ultra, the Snapdragon 8 Gen 3 is able to handle everything perfectly. I'm not sure if it's because of optimization, but again, Android Auto, this is Google's own device. Google owns Android, so I would feel like they would have better optimization on the Pixel 9 Pro XL if it was because of optimization. But again, these are the scores for Geekbench 6. Now let's go ahead and hop into 3D Mark. and we will go ahead and run a wildlife stress test. So let's go ahead and start that in 3, 2, 1. And once this is done, I will get back to y'all. Finally, the tests have completed, and as we can see from the scores, the best loop score on the Samsung Galaxy S24 Ultra is going to be 13,631, and on the Pixel 9 Pro XL, it's going to be 8,897. So the S24 Ultra, for its best loop score, outperformed the Pixel 9 Pro XL by a lot. However, on the lowest loop score, we did get down to 5,100, and on the Pixel 9 Pro XL, we did get down to 4,900. The stability on the Pixel 9 Pro XL is going to be 55%. On the S24 Ultra, it's going to be 37%, and we can see that from the stress test right here. So our first loop was 13,631. However, after that, we did have a pretty significant drop of 4,000 points, and then it just kept dropping after. The Pixel 9 Pro XL did stay consistent for the first 3 loops, and then it did slowly start dropping, and it did get a drastic drop as well. However, over time, it just kept dropping, just like the S24 Ultra, and once again, their lowest loop score was very close to each other. So the Pixel 9 Pro XL, in a general sense, does perform more stably. However, the S24 Ultra does keep up the score pretty high anyways. So even when it does drop, it's basically the highest score of the Pixel 9 Pro XL. So no issues there. And then if we do go ahead and check out the battery, from 53% to 46%, we did lose 7% right there, and then 74 to 68, we did lose 6% there. So again, very similar. Our temperatures were 39 degrees Celsius for the S24 Ultra, and it went up to 45, and the Pixel 9 Pro XL was 37 degrees Celsius and went up to 44 degrees Celsius. And then our frames are going to be 18 frames to 109, and then 16 frames to 69. So the S24 Ultra almost doubles the performance of the Pixel 9 Pro XL, but again, it does drop a little faster than the Pixel 9 Pro XL. However, in a general sense, it does always keep those scores higher than the Pixel 9 Pro XL. So that is basically going to be it for this. All right, so overall, the S24 Ultra does seem like a higher performing device, but that is to be expected. The Snapdragon 8 Gen 3 is a lot faster than the Tensor G4. It's a lot more powerful, and so the S24 Ultra, in most tasks, they're very similar, especially in my day-to-day usage. I've noticed that they basically do everything the same, but again, there are those exceptions when you do a couple more tasks, like when running Android Auto, as I said, and so that is where the S24 Ultra shines. It's able to do more things at once, it's able to do it a little faster than the Pixel 9 Pro XL, and it does it without lagging. But overall, both of these devices are great devices. I really do enjoy using both of them. Again, I've been using this for around 2 weeks now, and it's probably my favorite Pixel device right now. Google really did a great job with this device, even with the design, the software, and everything else. And then the S24 Ultra for me is the Android king right now. It's still my favorite Android device, and I do think they'll just make it better with the S25 Ultra. So that'll basically wrap it up for this video. As always, if you did enjoy this video, make sure to like and subscribe, and see y'all in the next one.